Hi there, my name is Jenna. Welcome to the live stream. We've got Rohan with us today, and we're going to be looking at some channels and reviewing and providing some, general feedback. Welcome,
Woohoo. Thank you, Jenna. Yeah, fun. I don't know. Do we have anyone with us yet? It'll be exciting as people start to join. But yeah,
Rohan.
I'm excited for today to get in and check out some channels and help people maybe get some growth. And yeah, just I guess, do I introduce myself at this point? What are we doing?
Definitely jump in and, let our viewers, I don't think we have anyone yet, but, for the recording, let's get your introduction here just so we know who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so my name is Rohan. I have been working with YouTube channels and creators in the space since I don't know, over 10 years ago when I was in high school. I started working with a tech YouTuber through a Craigslist listing of all things when I was like 14, and have just bounced around from channel to channel. But you know, I spent the last maybe few years, 3, 4 years, coaching creators one-on-one, and I've worked with over 300 creators at this point, helping them grow their channels, and have been able to help some go totally full time and get videos that with, well over 3 million views on multiple videos. So it's been amazing so far. And yeah, I'm just a super YouTube nerd, I guess.
Well, that's great. That's awesome. And it sounds like you've worked with a lot of people at different stages in their careers as well. It's not just all the big guys, but it sounds like you've also been part of that early stage growth.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Whether it's like somebody who has like a small company or a brand, or just like somebody who's really, just starting a YouTube channel, wants to do woodworking or ASMR, you name it. I've probably worked with somebody in some niche, right?
Oh, that's so cool. So cool. Well, not to keep blabbering on, I'm sure everybody's really interested into the meat of today's record or live. We're actually live right now, man. So let's start diving into the channels.
Let's
So
do
you
it.
did ask to go into this blind, so I'm hoping this goes well. I
Yeah,
gotta.
we'll see. Be patient with me. I haven't seen these channels before, but I'm excited to kind of give my first impressions and see what we could do to, make things work a little better.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pull up the first one on my screen here, and then let me know if you need additional information here.
Will do.
Come on. Come on. I don't know. Apparently not enough prep work in the beginning.
Just a little bit of buffering. It's all good.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's okay. I'm now getting a Chrome will not do this. So
Okay. You can also send me the link if you want, and maybe I can
I
pull it up.
think that's gonna be what's gonna happen. I'm
Okay.
so sorry to throw it on you to do that, but
No worries.
yeah.
Maybe
So
throw it in the chat, the private chat section of this, and I'll pull it up from there.
perfect. Yeah. We do have some of the stats saved in Eureka if you want to pull that up as a reference in addition to just their public YouTube profile. We've got some historic metrics for you to reference and all of our unique data points there.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I think that would be super exciting. Virica obviously has a bunch of dope insights that we can maybe dive into. Just give me uh give me a heads up on like maybe if you think I should pull something in specific up, then just let me know.
Yeah.
But let's take a look. James and Paul tried also. This looks like a Vegas channel, which is a fun niche. It's very much adjacent to travel creators, but just hyper specific. And how cool is it that we literally have like a entire niche on YouTube just dedicated to visiting one place, right? That just
Right.
shows the level of specificity we can get into. So I like to start on the high end. This isn't the stuff that's necessarily going to directly move the needle for somebody, but just in general, taking a look at this channel, what is your first impression, right? If I saw somebody's like one video and then I was like, I want to know more about this person. Let me go take a look at their channel. What am I going to see, right?
Mhm.
And couple things I want to point out. One, In general, I love the energy and the branding. Clearly, I can tell it's like a duo channel, try it all. So like channel name, I think solid. Um, Something that I think could be improved here. One, this profile image. Now, you might think something like a profile picture is rather a small detail, right? But it actually is a quite literally small detail. And so when we have something like a logo with small text here like this, it may look really cool when you design it, but then, on YouTube, and let's see if this pops up for me because I've got YouTube in the less distractions mode. But usually on the side here, there's like these little circles, right? And if I were to see this, I would have no idea what it is. And our goal is that even on its smallest, we're able to recognize and, understand the brand and immediately connect with it, right? So that's something small that could just make a small improvement of like bringing back some of those recurring viewers, is throwing some faces on it. And what that's the data indicates, is that a profile image should be faces. So maybe, just the two faces and a simple color behind could go a long way. And even like on the banner, right? I know everybody's like, oh, like banner, profile picture, what's really going to grow the channel here? But I really like to start with the basics and then kind of zone in as I'm getting familiar with the channel. So again, logo here, text is kind of small. Visually, I'm loving the story I'm seeing, right? We see Vegas in the background, so we're already getting some of that context. But I would love, instead of a logo here, some sort of value proposition statement, right? Like, what if it was like, do Vegas like a pro or something like that, right? Like the viewer's there for a reason. And I think we have a really easy opportunity to get somebody to understand like why they should subscribe or why they should keep coming back to the channel.
Yeah, no, that's such a good point.
In terms of homepage layout as well, I love to see this popular video section. If somebody's coming, and let's like 90% of the time somebody's going to come to your channel homepage, it's not the majority of your viewership, by the way. First and foremost, that's going to be coming from browse and suggested and search, right? And so if somebody's coming, maybe they don't know what to watch. Like usually if somebody knows what they want to watch, they would just search it, right? They're not going to come to your page. So having really good suggestions can go a long way for us. So in terms of like a For You section, I'm all for that. I think YouTube tends to know the viewer best, but maybe below that, having some sort of bingeable playlist, right? Where it's like, first time in Vegas, watch this first, or something like that. And it's like multiple videos to check out, some sort of, again, value proposition that then can get somebody onto that like longer watch session, which YouTube loves to reward. And seeing those popular videos higher up. And then shorts, like for example, see, we have Las Vegas down here, or Las Vegas hotel reviews. These are the kind of things where, with a little bit more spice, I would say, maybe in the title, I would want to move up and prioritize over putting shorts on the channel page, just because we want to get viewers in for those longer sessions. In terms of videos, this is where, thumbnails, titles, like this is where we start to kind of get into the specifics. I'm curious, Jenna, what's your like initial thoughts and impressions just taking a peek at this channel?
Yeah. For me, I love just that it's so colorful, and like it kind of feels like Vegas. After living there for a year, it definitely like it matches the town's energy, especially when you think of the strip. So I love how it's able to like bring that forward and really make you like associate it with like, this is a Vegas video. It's about Vegas. It's just very cohesive in that format.
I love that. Yeah, I love that you called that out, because that's something that definitely, as you're saying it, the themes of like the Vegas sign and seeing that, and like, yes, 100%, I agree. I will say, just taking a look at this from that 30,000-foot elevation, and just generally look at the thumbnails, the one thing and the feeling I'm getting is it feels crowded, maybe a little visually cluttered almost, I would go to say, because there's a lot of small details in these thumbnails, right? Like intricate textures, smaller text. Even if you look at this most recent video here, like food is the star of the show, and I can't really even visually make out that plate of food, right?
Yeah.
I love that text of the hot nudes. That's funny. But like even hot nudes, affordable prices, you're starting to get into that, like, do you need affordable prices, or can you put exactly what the price is for that noodle, and like
Mm,
maybe it's like $6, and you're like, in Vegas, whoa, I don't know what the
right?
price is, but yeah, it's rather than like explaining everything, just show us and we can put two and two together, right? And so immediately, just like overall, I would say like this is a good example of maybe there's a little bit more simplicity, but I don't know why there's a train there, right? For me, I'm looking at that and it's like, I need to see Vegas, who wins cards. Oh wait, so
Mm,
it's a monorail edition, right? So okay, maybe there is a reason for that. But
yeah.
then is there like, instead of having this whole skyline behind them and kind of the side of the monorail, can we put them inside the monorail,
Mm,
and in outside the windows we see the background of Vegas? So like there's a little bit more of a clearer story there, for example, right?
yeah.
Um Now let's take a look at their like most popular videos, right? So cool to see like in the sometimes channels have like their most popular video as like years back, right?
Yeah.
And maybe it's collected viewership over the years. So they definitely have some strong performers in that year to 2 year mark, which is great to see. Um, I love the simple value proposition here on this most recent video, or most popular video, cheap Vegas breakfast. Um, Again, another opportunity of maybe it's getting 2 views per hour now. So, well, what could we do to maybe boost that video again, right? Can you
Mhm.
do some thumbnail testing, title testing on those most popular videos and just juice them more? Um, YouTube loves betting on something that's already a winner, right? You're speaking in
Right?
that Vegas language, right?
Yeah.
And so, hey, maybe there's like an alternative version of this where instead of having, let's see, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven elements, right? That's how many I counted in terms of faces, the sign, the plates of
Yeah.
food, I'll count together as one, and three individual pieces of text. In general, on YouTube, we want to stick to something that's three elements at the most, right? Maybe
Yeah.
five. So we get into seven, that's a lot to look at. So can we ask ourselves, like, what worked about this thumbnail and what could be even better, and just test there and implement? I would definitely consider that. But I love this title, Save Money at These 5 Cheap Breakfast Spots in Las Vegas. However, I don't think you really need that like additional text. Sometimes people try to do, I think the word for it is like long tail keywords and like really long titles.
Mm,
It's really not necessary. If you think that you're providing additional information to YouTube, maybe, and that's what's helping you get views, it's just really not the case. Matter of fact is YouTube knows more about your video before you even add any of that, because it's listening to the whole transcript, and it can visually spot where you
right.
are and all that, all sorts of
Mm,
crazy stuff. And so pick the best title for, I mean, the best rule is like, can a fifth grader or can a third grader get the point of the video, right? And
mm,
so does a third grader need your second title in the combined in the title? Probably not. So stick to those principles is what I would say. And yeah, I mean, obviously they're doing a good job. They've got some viewership, and I've got to imagine the challenge with the channel and what they're looking to do is do that more consistently, right?
mm,
Um, the place I would start most definitely, in the lowest hanging fruit, is just a little bit of a refresh to thumbnail approach, right? I'm
yeah.
definitely digging this thumbnail. That stands out to me as like a little bit cleaner, a little bit more expensive looking. But yeah, go for simplicity is what I would say.
Yeah. No, that's all really great feedback. And I'm gonna move you along now as we start getting into our hour here. Um, Actually, before we jump on all the way from them, do you mind jumping into Eureka? Oh, we're going to jump into Eureka. So if you don't mind, just stop sharing real quick, Rohan.
Yeah,
We're going to jump into Eureka and look at some of the stats.
let's do it.
We're waiting on technical stuff.
Dun, 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 dun.
And we will not get demonetized for singing the Jeopardy thing.
Oh my gosh. That would be a compliment to me if I got copyright strike flagged for how well I hummed it.
Right, right. Well, that's definitely one of the most recognized tunes, or it has to be.
For
So,
sure.
all right. So we've got kind of a tiny screen, so we're all going to lean in here together to look.
get my magnifying glass out.
Yeah, right.
So this is cool. I love that Vurica can do this, by the way, of, comparing a channel to another Vegas channel. It's always such a
Right?
really insightful way to learn things about your channel is to compare it to your competitors, right?
Right?
Obviously you want to view these things with a grain of salt, and sometimes you want to look to people who are not just in your niche for
Sure.
guidance. However, there's definitely stuff to be learned. I'm curious, what's Vurica telling us here, Jenna, like in terms of any insights compared to
Yeah.
the competition?
So specifically what we're looking at here is we're looking at topics that the competitor or the inspiration channel does that James and Paul do not do. So our comparison channel here is Lydia in Vegas. And what's happening is Vurica is pulling in top performing videos from her channel that it knows that James and Paul have not done. So this top one here, Vegas all inclusives, that is a great opportunity for James and Paul to go and do a video, a couple videos, maybe even a series about that one specific topic because it performed really well for Lydia. And that's what all of these are. All of these are really good videos that performed well for Lydia that James and Paul could repurpose in their own style and their own voice and use it as a jumping off point for ideas and such, which is,
I love that.
people sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's so handy because it's one of those things where ultimately when I'm working with my clients, right, that's something that I have them do manually. To just be able to have like a button do this and get some of these suggestions is so cool. But no, it really valuable, right? It's
Yeah,
just like it's clear as day. Like, if Coca-Cola was doing something product wise that was making a bunch of money for them, Pepsi would definitely be looking at that and going, oh, maybe we should try that too, right? And
right.
so it's no different here. And I love that you mentioned putting their own spin on it. So
Mhm.
it's not like they're copying the same video,
No.
but if they address free activities in Las Vegas, I mean, I know I'm interested in that. If I'm in Vegas and I want something, Vegas is an expensive city, and I might have already lost my money the night before, So,
Yeah.
some free things to do might not be so bad. And obviously, if it's performing on other channels, then they should take a swing at that. And I guarantee that they've got something else to, add to that maybe Lydia didn't. And it's a good way to get some suggested traffic
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. That's the whole thing about YouTube, which, I'm sure you have a much better handle on. It's about it's about bringing your own authenticity to each video and making the whole channel really feel like it's a person and it's unique and it's not some highly curated, super polished experience.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So we're going to move in now to looking at titles. One of the other great things about Purika is we're able to look at the videos and do title comparisons, either if you're in the like planning idea stage or even doing a comparison and generate new ideas if a video is not performing as well as you'd hoped. We're able to make it really easy. As you saw, a one-click experience, we're able to bring in the transcript of the video and get new titles to kind of help you brainstorm and see, ooh, I think this might actually perform better. So this is
Yeah.
just a moment to think, and then we'll have some results to peruse.
No, that's awesome. And it's yeah, maybe you could use it in that situation I was just talking about, right? Where it's like, hey, this great video we had maybe started to lose traction. Let's test some new titles, right? Let's throw them in the ABC test. And if you're not sure where to get started, then having something like this to pitch you some titles and then you
Mm,
workshop from there. Yeah, great starting point.
yeah, for sure.
I'm
So
curious to see what it comes up with.
yeah, no, what's really great about Eureka 2, and well, maybe we'll dive into this more specifically in another live stream, but it's the ability to train the generator here that was going to give this result eventually. You're able to train the generator specifically on you, on your voice, who you are online. So you really do get those highly curated, very specific results for your channel that prevents you from sounding like any other channel. So
That's
um,
super important too, because yeah, I mean, obviously, if you just like go into ChatGPT and say, "This is my video," like suggest me some titles, versus if something's like constantly training on your channel or the inputs you're providing, the results are only going to be better, right?
So much better. So we're looking at their video about the hot nudes that you commented on. So
Okay, so
these
let's
are suggestions. So let's take a look.
yeah, right. Before we get there, I just want to frame it as this is the original title, okay? Why this authentic noodle house is worth a visit on your next Vegas trip. So, not a bad title. Nothing particularly, it maybe is like a little tough on the eyes to read in terms of like visually not having like something stand out or maybe like a capitalized word or something. Let's go through some of these and see what we think. Okay, Shang artisan noodle, better than the strip. This is too obscure for me, but let's see. Vegas noodles under $20, worth the trip. Okay, straight
That's
to
more
the point.
interesting.
Yeah, maybe we do a little mix and match and go authentic authentic noodles in Vegas under $20, worth the trip. What
Right.
makes Shang's handmade noodles so addictive? Okay, now here's the thing. People don't care about Shang's. So, but what if we took that and went, what makes these something specific detail about them? What makes these $20 noodles so addictive? Boom. Great title there.
Yeah.
Um, Off strip noodles with serious heat. Don't love that one. The spicy broth we didn't expect. Little vague. Knife cut chow mein that kept us talking. Okay, okay. I think we could get better. But what I love here is that we're able to even give that input, right? Of like, okay, maybe this one wasn't that great, or maybe it was better. And over time, some of these results I imagine are going to start looking a lot better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to keep going? I can only see a couple more.
Do you want to do another travel channel or Jessica Rich?
No, I think we're ready to move on. So we're going to stop sharing this. And
Alrighty, let's do
as
it.
we do that, do we want to stay on the travel theme, Rohan, or do you want to move on and do something a little different and give our viewers a different taste of a different niche?
You know what? I am down for whatever, but I feel like, yeah, let's switch it up.
Let's switch it up. Okay.
Scotty B or Jesse?
Yeah. So let's move to real estate. Let's stay on Vegas, and I'm going to drop the link in that same chat for you. We're going to stay in Vegas, but we're moving to real estate.
Okay. Let's see. Jesse Vargas. Okay.
Yes.
Now I already kind of talked through some of my ideology behind overall channel setups, so I'll just briefly touch on it. Definitely we're seeing a lot on this banner. I'm not really sure what to look. I do see the value in like having some of the information like a phone number and stuff like that when you're trying to get leads. I would just look to get it cleaned up and have a messaging with fewer words and one central place for the eyes. So if you want a viewer to read something, it should probably exist kind of in the center of the screen here versus being kind of spread all out. And maybe there's some more contextual imaging.
Do you have any words of wisdom for creators who are trying to be mindful of the banner image across devices, computers, TVs, laptops, phones?
Less is more, definitely. Keep things center weight. Like whatever is the most important thing should be smack in the middle because that's what's going to eventually get cropped to. And then they definitely make some overlays that you could use as a reference point in terms of seeing like what's going to appear where on which platform. Something like TV, you know, if the rest of it is just like a visual aid, like we just see a house in front of the Vegas skyline and maybe one piece of information or something, but then as you kind of zoom in, we get more specific. I think that could work pretty well. Something, you know, again, same thing for you section, and then it's just the videos and the shorts. We have all these playlists here, but they're not being leveraged as pinned playlists on the homepage. So I would definitely consider that. Let's take a look at some, like the video section here.
Yeah, his video section, he popped up in our search as we were moving to Vegas. He was one of our top results over and over, and he was actually one of our big points of contact when we moved.
Oh, there we go. He's doing something right then.
Right?
Love that. Love that. Some of these, I actually really like some of these thumbnails. Some of them, again, are maybe having a little bit less clarity. Like, for example, and this video actually did really well, but don't move here, you'll never leave, which I love that contrast. But this the photo of the environment itself is pretty, like, I can't really tell where it is.
Yeah.
Maybe even if it was like on a map somewhere highlighted, like a specific section of a map that like gives me that lean in effect of, oh,
Mm.
where is that? I kind of visually recognize that, right?
Yeah.
I I like this one here with like some of these like highlighted houses, but
Yeah.
again, be mindful of like where you place text on the thumbnail. Something like KB Home, not really necessary to have on your thumbnail, right? You're not going to make a sale off of a video thumbnail. You just want to get somebody in the door. And so
Right.
having something like the price of the home, I think is great. Yeah, again, landings, I'm not sure what that's going to communicate to the viewer, but relocating to Vegas question mark, like that would be enough in my mind, right?
Mhm.
And text placement also, like not being on the edges of the image, but rather central so that the viewer can like easily understand that along with whatever visual aid is there. I love this one. Kind of interesting, like Las Vegas under 400K. Some of it's behind that house there, which is an interesting technique. Again, I would
Mm.
just be mindful of the text placement, like kind of having to start at the top and work your way down.
Yeah.
Um,
What do you think of the stylistic choices? Like you can see a lot of these kind of have the same vibe where it's the big house in the middle and then the text is kind of a sandwich, that the house you know is developing a style like that a good thing, even if this maybe isn't the best example, or
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely. I love the consistency, and I actually prefer maybe some of these other than the fact that the timestamp is cutting off some of the text.
Mm.
But I think this is a great example of like within the similar world and style, but just like very simplistic. Um, and yeah, when we start getting into some of these newer videos, again, love the experimentation, but I would definitely encourage staying with the same color theme, or staying consistent in that way, fonts wise as well. So like here, this video did decently well, but I would definitely be experimenting with the thumbnail to say like, okay, like was it the red color that did well, or was it the actual photo itself and what was being said, and can it be within the same channel brand? Because over time, that's gonna matter.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I can definitely see that helping.
Let's take a look at some of the. So again, okay, this was our most popular video, the one I mentioned. Why do you think, like, I'm curious, in your mind, if anything jumps out of maybe why this could be the most popular video?
Oh, for me, and I might have a leg up since I did live in Vegas for a little while, but Vegas is very transient. A lot of people come, a lot of people go. It's just a lot of people in motion. I found it, unless you worked at the casinos, you didn't really live there long term. So I find it interesting that he's pitching the idea of like a long-term Vegas resident when most people kind of moved in and moved out. So for me, like, I find that kind of crazy, but I also have a little of the background information there.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think for me, there's obviously probably people interested in Henderson. Um, I know when I was visiting Vegas, my in-laws wanted to go tour some houses there out of curiosity. So I think there's like
Yeah.
say, I think it's a popular area that people consider in the Vegas kind of like metro area. But
Yeah.
beyond that, I really love I think the thumbnail did the heavy lifting here in the sense of the don't move here, you'll never leave, right? Because it catches your attention right away. And then it's like that bait and switch where then you're like, wait, oh, why would I never, like, I want to know more. What's so great about Henderson, this like seemingly, you know, nothing special place, right?
Yeah.
And so I would
Yeah.
maybe lean into that again of just like, um, can you get somebody's attention and then set up what we call is a curiosity gap, which is like, in my mind, what's that curiosity gap? Oh, what about Henderson makes me not want to leave? And that's what I got to click on the video to find out, right? And so
What I
leaning
actually
into
really
that
like
more.
before I stare at this thumbnail is like his picture, the picture of him. It seems like much more of an organic, you caught a mid conversation kind of thing, and less like over exaggerated, like you kind of thing. And I don't know, maybe that's just me, but that's kind of hitting me of like, oh, he's just having a conversation. It's much less like
Yeah, it's not like he's trying to sell me something. It's
Yeah.
just like, hey, I'm this guy. You should maybe know this, right? Which I think viewers definitely have an appreciation for.
Yeah.
Um, let's see
I
in the chat.
Yeah, I did want to ask specifically. Obviously, I knew this was Las Vegas because we had talked to him personally. But for people who aren't like Las Vegas locals or have done research about the big areas to live in, how important is or how effective is it to like say or not say Las Vegas, or really focus in and only saying Henderson or this case, or actually calling out Summerlin versus Henderson as the big areas as comparison points?
I think it depends on a video by video basis, right? I don't think you need to like squeeze Las Vegas into every title, um, or like put a bunch of Las Vegas hashtags in the video. And if you are like trying to do hashtags, that's like definitely something that being more specific is probably better. So
Mm.
mentioning Henderson, or living in Henderson or something like that in a hashtag could probably help you because it is hyper specific, and like there's like a small specific group of people paying attention, right?
Yeah,
I remember some people like debate whether hashtags work or not, and I would say they do get you views. I don't know how many views they get you, but it's not a massive amount. But if you're just getting started, it can help, right? I
yeah,
remember I made a video about like a very niche specific camera, doing a video test with it. And the comments I got were all from people who had posted their own videos about that specific camera under
yeah,
like, and I was like, okay, clearly, and that was the only place I said it in the hashtag too. And I was like, okay, so they does do something.
yeah,
But is gonna make it most popular video or not? Probably not. But yeah. Anyways, that was a little bit of a tangent. Coming back to that specific versus broad and framing, right? I think there are different buckets of video content per channel, and certain appeals to broader audiences, like top of funnel. Like let's say
mhm,
your top of funnel is just somebody, or higher up in the funnel is somebody who's curious about living in Vegas but doesn't really know anything, right? That might look like the 5 best neighborhoods to live in Vegas, right? Or to move
mhm.
to, or to buy a home in Vegas. But then somebody who's a much more serious person, who's maybe like showing more intent and is not just there for that like surface level content, they really want to know the details, then having videos like this Henderson one and things of that nature can also really help. And also these tend to be a little bit more like evergreen in that sense, because
Yeah,
if there's less videos about Henderson, and it's probably more search traffic than anything versus suggested, but
mm,
I think it's good to have a good mix, right? For somebody who is particularly doing a small business like this and wants to have leads coming in very specific to people trying to buy homes in Vegas. They don't really care about everybody else. Um,
right.
then having some of those searchable videos, because clearly people are going to search about like, how is Henderson as a neighborhood, or like, should I move there? And those are important to fill just as much as appealing to somebody who has that slight curiosity as well.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. So, any other big comments about this channel that you want to highlight before we start moving on?
I'd love to, if we were to go deeper, right, then I think the next step here would be looking at maybe some of the videos that didn't perform as well and comparing why maybe they didn't, as
Mm,
well as even just looking within the videos. How's that hook? How's that first 30 seconds? We're not really talking about that here, but if you wanted to get an idea of what next steps would be like working with a channel or kind of diving in, then definitely, we're talking a lot about thumbnails, titles, and ideas, which is all about why a video might get shown
mm,
um, to viewers and why they might choose to watch it. But then it's just as important as like, if we're doing a better job of setting those expectations, and then meeting them in the first 30 seconds,
yeah,
that's so important too, and keeping viewers watching. So that's another element of it. But overall, I think, it's clear this channel is doing something successful if you came across it as well, looking to Vegas. And
yeah,
definitely, I would say stick to trying to get a little bit more simple with the branding and the thumbnails, more of a consistent theme, and lean in there on some of that bait and switch technique, because it clearly worked a little bit.
Yeah. Well, obviously you have a lot more insights into what could work, what might be, causing some issues and getting views and such. Do you want to take a moment here to kind of deep dive into the services you offer and how coaching looks like with you and really,
Yeah.
get yourself here?
Cue sales pitch. No, I mean, to be honest, what I will say is I just love helping people figure out how to make things click on YouTube.
Mhm.
And I like to keep things fun and relatively informal. But in terms of how I work with individuals, it's a lot of conversations, maybe like the one we're having right now, Zoom calls and things of that nature, to really understand your particular scenario, your lifestyle, and asking you questions like, what kind of life do you want to live in 5 years? And how does YouTube play a role in that, right? And then helping you reverse engineer that with a strategy of, okay, let's get you to that point, right? Let's not just chase the next view or like what hack is going to get you views, but like a holistic strategy around your particular needs, your value proposition, what audience you're serving, and how you can consistently target that audience and help YouTube help you and reach those goals that you want to reach. And then we'll just keep meeting, and if you have questions, you ask me, and we'll just go from there. That's usually how it is. So if you're curious, definitely fill out the form, and I'd love to chat about your channel.
Yeah, no, that is so great. And, I always love to hear that, someone comes in more of a collaborative mindset instead of a lecture mindset. So I love your approach. Just to me, like, I think it's more effective. So we will
Appreciate
make
it.
sure to include the link that popped up on your screen, guys. We'll include the link in all of the follow-up commentary so y'all can follow and go sign up with Rohan, who's very awesome. I highly recommend.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. So moving into our next channel, I will repost it in case it got lost in our giant chat. And
Okay.
we're going to kind of go back to where we started a little. We're going to go back to the travel theme, but this time we're going to change it up a little. So I'll let you open that up and, get your first take.
Let's do it. Cool.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
while you read, these are new people to our group. So it's very exciting. We love, welcoming all our new members. So we wanted to highlight and kind of show what the experience is being new to the group and, being part of Eureka and everything. So,
well, welcome to the group, first and foremost. Yeah, I'm loving this channel, just taking a look. First off, I love a good duo travel channel. And I think there's like a lot of opportunity to, just like have that good energy and vibe. And I can immediately tell from the thumbnails that these would be a fun couple to watch, which I think is like so important, right? Yeah, definitely really love some of the, like, what stands out to me is like some of these top ones. When I talk about 3 elements, right, they've really got a background, a small piece of text, 2 faces, and the piece of food. So they're closer on that 5 range. But I love and you know what? Let me see if I have a tool that I can kind of draw on this with. I would love to kind of illustrate what is so great about this.
Please, we'd love to see how you think and look at these and evaluate.
So like thumbnails are just photos, right? It's just composition. And it's all about like, how do we get somebody to first be curious enough to look? So we stop their scroll. How do we get their eye to look at just enough information to understand what's going on, and then make them curious enough to read the title? That's how it usually goes. And so what I love about this is like, we've got this pop of yellow here, right? We've got their faces.
I'm not seeing anything, Rohan. So if you're
Oh
sharing,
no,
I'm not seeing anything.
okay, that's too bad. I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm not sharing my entire screen and just the window or something like that. But let's imagine here. So yeah, essentially, I love that we're getting our attention like caught up on this. And actually, you know what? Let me just go back to that. Even if you guys can't see what I'm drawing, it'll keep it relatively the same. It won't autoplay. Just pay attention to how the text on the left, the faces on the right, all point down to the food. And then the food directly under it is the title. So it's like that flow is really nice. If anything, I would make this thumbnail better by even simplifying the background a little bit. If you look at some of the Korean text on the top right, it's nice as a context of like, oh, it's Korea, which also my mind would not think that was Korea first thing.
I was so small at first for me. I didn't even clock it until you zoomed.
But it's one of those things where it's like simpler textures and backgrounds keep things less distracting. So small detail, but just something to consider. But I really love even more than this, like even this one here, 48 hours in Tokyo. I feel like I could probably guess that this is Tokyo. So maybe I would go simpler and just say 48 hours. Over here, this one I love because it feels like it could be just like a part of the video. Those are my favorite thumbnails, are videos that are like, feel like they could be a screen grab. And like my litmus test is like, if I start auto playing it, does it look like it lives in that world, or do I like recognize it? Which again, doesn't that kind of look like the street in the thumbnail? So I love that about it. You know, we talk about setting expectations and meeting them, but again, same sort of like leading lines that lead to the food. But I love that the food also is like slightly more in focus than the faces, right? You can tell it's the star of the show. To me, I would make more thumbnails like this one. It's really awesome. Interesting title as well too. Not skiing, what to do in Hakuba, Japan. Maybe good context to have vlog in the title, not necessary for winning the click, but maybe for getting somebody to stick around. But a little bit repetitive because it says Hakuba Japan, Japan vlog, right? And so maybe not saying Japan vlog, but just saying like couples travel vlog or something like that could be a different context point. Yeah, really, really loving some of this content. And I definitely think, you know, Justin and Sam, like, keep going here. You guys are making some awesome stuff. And in terms of like even consistent branding and colors, there's definitely a feeling for that. Yeah, I even love this one because like Sam's face, I feel like really says a lot. And even just like seeing, you know, I would even maybe say like Hakuba in this example, I would just remove and say worth it. And then just saying like the ultimate Japan ski guide, is Hakuba the best choice or something like that. And then, you know, avoiding repetition is really, I think, an important thing in YouTube because you have two opportunities to say something. And if you use the same opportunity to say the same thing, it's a little bit of a waste, right? Yeah, so we had a good question from Andrew in the chat here that he wanted us to just address is Justin and Sam also do quite a bit of shorts, right? Can doing shorts negatively impact the performance of your long form content? For a long time, that was a real discussion and still is a real discussion. What I would say is that have trust in YouTube. that's my methodology. And shorts viewers, yes, typically are different than long form viewers, but every day more and more people who consume short form content are making the decision to consume long form. Short form content also gives YouTube more information about your channel and more information on what topics are interesting to the audience and can literally lead to somebody clicking in to watch something, right? But regardless, I would definitely say in 2026, if you're not making short form and long form content, you're missing out on an opportunity to gain performance on YouTube. And, you know, recent news, right? YouTube is including the feature on mobile platforms to turn off shorts viewership entirely for viewers, right? Like that is a thing. Low-key, I might turn it off, but that's just me. But does that mean, oh, it's not worth doing shorts anymore? And I think not at all, right? There are people who love watching shorts, whether they like to admit it or not, and will probably keep watching shorts. Probably myself included. Let's be real here, right? So
have that doom scroll moment every now and then.
Yeah. And so, and shorts are great for search content as well.
Yeah.
And in the travel space, like that's a big thing too. So I definitely think keep doing shorts. And in fact, shorts is a great place to test formats of like, can I try a whole bunch of ideas? And if something works on shorts, could that be a long form video, right? That would be
I was
my
actually
suggestion.
just about to ask, you know, what I've seen online, which, you know, not a lot, I haven't done a whole lot of research, but there's this debate around repurposing long form content into shorts instead of filming shorts specific content. Do you have any insight onto which might be the better avenue?
I would say don't spend time thinking about which is better and rather think about what is a healthy mix that can serve your goals because they're
Hmm.
going to do different things, right? The clips of long form content probably never going to perform as well as something that's designed to perform well on short form. But it's a low lift content piece and in shorts you're not really negatively impacted for posting more frequently. So can putting that out be appealing and provide genuine value, then put it out. And also, if you have the bandwidth, then by all means, do a couple videos that are written specifically for shorts, right? And just see what works for you. And generally, it's going to be a mix that does the best.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right. No, that's a good point. Good point. Moving on to something a little more mathy analytical, looking at their video count to subscriber counts.
yeah,
You know, when you reach a certain point, you're able to do live streams on YouTube, and I've heard that that's able to, you know, help you increase reach, and then you have like additional content that's a little more low effort to save to your feed. Do you think a travel channel like this would benefit from doing a live stream on YouTube to kind of help supplement their efforts to grow their channel?
I think you should use every method of posting that you have available to you. So, community posts, which I see that they are utilizing, live streams, shorts, long form videos would be my suggestion. Now, when it comes to live streams, yes, it's a little bit different. But what if you're in that country and you're answering, it's like a ask me anything live stream, right? And
Yeah.
if a video got specific views, right? If we go to their most popular videos, okay, business class, was it worth it? And then we see a lot of Japan stuff, right? So ask me anything about traveling in Japan, for example, could be a really great way to engage your audience, build a little bit deeper relationships. And if it drives the view needle a little bit, great. If not, it's just another way to form a deeper relationship, which is such an important part of YouTube. You're building a community ultimately.
Oh,
So I would definitely give that a try. And in terms of like a video to subscriber ratio as well, it seems like it is like a lot of shorts that they're putting out, which, you know, by all means is great, but I wouldn't like be too concerned about only having 172 subscribers with that many shorts. However, maybe try putting, I don't know, do they have like a call to action in their shorts? Doesn't look like it. So if you wanted to try like having some sort of pop-up, shorts is a decent way to gain more subscribers if that's something you're interested in.
yeah. Okay, that's a good point. Good point. Kind of along the same line. Obviously, you know, most content creators are going to be multi-platform. They're going to be like, you know, on Instagram. Is there any recommendations for migrating an Instagram audience into YouTube, or, you know, a way to bring them over and, you know, because I don't know about you, but like I follow my travel people both on YouTube and Instagram because content drops at different times. You know, how
Yeah.
do you migrate those Instagram to YouTube people?
I think it's a question a lot of people tend to ask, especially if like you have a bigger audience on one platform over the other. The reality is, and I do this sometimes as well, right? Like there are certain creators I'll follow on both platforms. The reality is we're the minority. And spending time, if you're trying to grow a YouTube channel, thinking about that minority audience of somebody who might follow you on both platforms. And by the way, like the only reason I'd ever follow somebody on YouTube and Instagram 99.9% of the time is because I followed them on YouTube first and then decided to supplement with Instagram, not the other
Same,
way around.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have a deeper relationship with them naturally through YouTube, right?
Mhm.
And an Instagram follow doesn't mean as much these days. So I would just focus on making the best possible videos for YouTube, and making some more awesome thumbnails, and looking at maybe doing a competitor analysis with somebody else who makes content in
Yes.
Japan, for example, and leveraging that. Then putting your time and energy into trying to pull over Instagram viewers. It doesn't hurt to do some of those long form clips on Instagram, just to like put it out there that, hey, there is long form content too. And using that as supplemental content on Instagram, maybe as like a carousel or something like that,
Yeah.
is definitely a creative way to do it. But if you're talking about lower hanging fruit, don't waste time on it.
Okay, that is good to know, because I don't know about everyone else, but every time I try my hand at content creation, it's how do I get everybody to be everywhere and grow at the same rate, and that's just not how it works.
Yeah, you got to meet the viewers where they're at, and people on different platforms are expecting different things, and
Mhm.
you're not going to give somebody a burger at a sushi restaurant. So
All very true, very true. So, all right, any last comments about this channel before we start wrapping it up?
no, other than I'm excited to see where it goes, and definitely keep it up. Share in the group as things progress, but definitely a strong start, and really loving some of those titles and thumbnails. So clearly they're doing some of the right things, I think.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Rohan, I think we're going to start drawing this to a close. I'm going to make it a real general last question. Any other immediate things our viewers should keep in mind as they're working on their YouTube journeys?
Well, I will just say that it is very easy to go down the rabbit hole of like how to get this video to get the most views, or like you made one video that you're really proud of and then you hyper fixate on like changing titles and thumbnails and just trying to squeeze the most view out of it, and doing all this research and hacks and SEO and all that. And I would say just make sure that you're not taking your own time, energy, and attention away from making the next video, right?
Mm.
I've worked with literally probably 350 plus creators at this point, and the number one thing that is going to be an indicator to me of like whether they're going to succeed or not is just dedication to putting in the reps and posting and keep putting content out there, and showing up. If you have a good strategy, or if you're dedicated to just getting better with each video, improving 1% each time,
Mhm.
it is just a matter of time. There isn't some hack you're missing. There are better, best guidelines, and you can try to improve yourself, but don't hyper fixate on that. Focus on making the best videos you can.
Awesome, awesome. Well, you heard it from the YouTube coach, guys, so you know what's going to work. So that wraps us up for today. I do want to mention that we are going to have another live next Friday. So watch the events page for all the exact information to come. We will be doing something a little different. So Rohan will not be joining us next Friday, but he will be coming back for more channel reviews. So we will see him again.
Cool.
And I do want to say that if you liked the channel analysis that we talked about with the first channel, that is available at Viorica.com. Rohan's coach sign up is also at Viorica, so we'll make sure all the links are available. Rohan, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Jenna, and thanks to anybody who has a chance to watch this. Definitely had some fun today, and we should definitely do it again soon.
We definitely will. All right.
Awesome.